Wow, what a great song. Huge upset win by Boomer Sooner this weekend at mighty Rocky Top in front of 100,000 crazy fans. Unbelievable victory. Texas did what they were supposed to do as a favored team. They won. We'll give their props too. All right. Welcome. Episode 10 of the Coach's Office.
Sorry, Coach. Had to do a little Texas fight there. We're getting jobbed. I had to take a stand. Zay. Sorry, man.
You know, sometimes we just got to go with the team that was the big underdog on the road and had a massive win. I mean, the home favorite, against poor Vanderbilt.
I don't care what the line said. Did anybody think Texas was going to win that game? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think everybody who in Vegas and everybody around the world did.
No one did.
Come on, dude. You really thought
Coach,
Vanderbilt had a chance?
Let's move on.
Come on.
Hey, all the money was on Vanderbilt getting 3.5.
No way.
Yeah,
it was.
Anyway. Again,
and you know how I know?
Underdog.
See, you know how I know? Because I watched the game, and you watched the SEC refs officiate the game. That's how you know the money was on Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I saw it against Oklahoma when Oklahoma got screwed against Texas.
You mean when
anyway, let's get on to breaking news in college football. Hugh Freeze fired at Auburn. Overall record, not good. Was off to a poor start this year. Again, I got to say, even though my Boomer Sooners beat them, they did get away with what they say was a missed call, but I'll take it as just good coaching. Hugh Freeze has had a lackluster time in Auburn, as we all know. He hasn't lived up to expectations at all. I don't think anybody's surprised by this. I just feel that, it's been going downhill now. It's out of control. And for me, just to give a little bit of insight, Jackson Arnold, after watching him last year at Oklahoma, as big as a recruit he was, I mean, he's kind of, in my book, he falls in a lot of the time of the same kind of category as Carson Beck. When he just is missing something, and he doesn't have an it factor. And, red flag for Auburn is Oklahoma was like, yeah, we're kind of done with this guy. And, is highly recruited, but just doesn't have it. And I think everybody sees that. And you see the attitude of Oklahoma all of a sudden with Mateer, the guy that basically, you have this under recruited guy that the whole team wants to die for, or you have this over recruited guy that the whole team doesn't want to play for. So I look at it that way. And I see in the beginning, I would say the same thing. I would say a little bit of that was happening in Texas, where in the beginning they had this highly recruited guy that didn't look like he belonged. And I think now, under all the ridicule that he's gotten and all the bashing, he's upped his game, and now the whole team's playing for him. I think
he's close with his teammates. That's one thing you could tell.
I know, but I mean, in the beginning, you definitely have to have. And I don't care. It's human nature. This mother ever is getting paid $3, $4, $5 million, and he's this. This is ass. I mean, you can't tell me that guys weren't saying that, and they were a little bitter. I mean, it's just the nature, I think, of the way this is going on nowadays. And that's just my thought on it. I know you guys. What do you guys think about Hugh Freeze and stuff?
So like two different. You kind of talked about two different things there. It was like the Hugh Freeze firing. I look at it as Auburn's a proud program, 100%. I mean, they're just like, in their opinion, if they don't go out and beat Alabama every year, it's a failure. Alabama is like for the last however long, the best team in the country. So
yeah, they're number 2 in the state, no matter what.
That's the whole thing. So like they're very proud. I'll say this. If you look at his losses this year, if Oklahoma, like Georgia's a good team, right? And Oklahoma, there's a lot of propaganda about them being a good team. That's remained to be seen a little bit. But honestly, dude, they've had close two very close losses that you could make the argument. I know as coaches, you're not supposed to say the refs, this, that, and the third. The refs made brutal game-changing missed calls or bad calls in like two SEC games against very good opponents that they shook the shit out of. Like they could have very easily came out of the Oklahoma game with a win, and they could have very easily came out of the Georgia game with a win. And had they won those two games, despite bad officiating, Hugh Freeze is not fired, and Auburn's being talked about in a different light right now. So it's like,
Yeah,
again,
you're
it's
right.
so wild to me how if you're an athletic director and you're going to make your career and you're a millionaire based on, your knowledge of athletics and administration and things like that, you can't just sit back as a casual fan and say, we're a couple bad calls away from being ranked. You know what I mean? So I can't get it. But as far as the quarterback's concerned, Zay, I think you're 100. He's not the guy you put all the weight on and bet on in the fourth quarter, to
Not a
stand on his
foxhole
head,
guy.
make a play. But
Not a foxhole guy.
nope.
Yeah, for me, you guys saw me blowing up the group chat because I'm the idiot that keeps betting Auburn because I think they got a good roster. I mean, their defense.
They do.
They do.
They're close, man. The quarterback makes all the difference.
They could win all their
They
games.
got two wide receivers that are going to be playing on Sundays.
Yeah.
And they don't get the ball. But the funny thing for me is a lot of Auburn fans found out that he was getting fired when he's got a regular tea time at the Auburn University Club at 1:30, and it was canceled that morning.
Oh.
Have either of you guys watched the 30 for 30 Roll Tide War Eagle?
Yeah.
You got to watch it.
Yeah.
Like that, Auburn and Alabama, obviously Crimson, but these people are fanatical about football to a degree that maybe a lot of other programs are not. You know what I mean? So,
listen, it's a way of life down there. I mean, what that show you talking about, Kite, was awesome. But I mean, just even like, you know what it is? It's like that like you guys talk about, like that margin of error between victory and defeat. I mean, that's the quarterback in my book a lot of the time, because it comes down to that last drive or that last thing to make it happen. I mean, in my opinion, like you think about a guy that has like a moxie like that, and I just don't think he has it in those clutch games. I don't think he has it. I think I just don't think he's good. Like everything looks great. It's like, when you drag Ryan Leaf, like one pick behind Peyton Manning. Everything looks great until the friggin' bullets start firing. And then, what happens?
That's like a good comparison. Like
I mean, I saw it a lot last year, and just watching him going, dude, I thought this guy is good. I mean, I don't know. And the one thing I want to bring up too, and I have it down here, you guys see me talking about it, probably saw it written down, is the blackouts. Now, I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of not wearing your colors. I'm not a fan of, we got to make this. Everybody's like, Nebraska did it, lost. Tennessee does it, lost. Like all these teams are doing it to try to spike something up, and they lose. I mean, I don't know. Everybody makes a big deal out of it. Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Like I'm a fan of Penn State's whiteout if they only wore white jerseys at home. That's what I'd be a fan of it.
Yeah,
I want to see something different, but I want to see it with your school colors. I want to see that. I just don't. And I argue with some of the guys that up here in our high school football. And I bust the guys I work with now at Memorial when they go with their black uniforms. I'm like, you look like Southern. You look like Point Burrow. You look like Townsend East. You look like you don't look like you guys. You don't look like Rick Memorial. I argue with that stuff. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think, man?
I think
Jerseys.
Listen. If it gets to a point in the year, I feel twofold about this. If I needed to, as a coach or as somebody in charge of a program or helping a program, if I needed to stand on my head or wear a clown suit and run backwards through the locker room to summon this much juice, I would do it. So, like, I understand that you're trying to just raise up a little bit of juice. I think at times it's as much for the crowd and the fans and the student section as it is for the team. But you're trying to summon a little bit of juice. That being said, if you need to summon juice to play at Rocky Top on a friggin' Saturday night, or some of these other teams, it's like you got to go
With
get
100,000 people,
you got to go get your
you
blood
could be
checked,
all right.
dude. You know what I mean? So I get it and I don't get it. I see what you're saying. I'm not a fan of the unit. I know that we, for a few years, would play our home opening game against a certain crosstown rival with our white jerseys on. And that was done for a multitude of reasons, both strategic and
Yeah.
not. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Your colors are your colors. Wear them proudly, whatever they are. And the
Yep.
extra stuff, you know what I mean? But there are some teams that just get a new uniform every week and a new helmet every week, and they're metallic, and they're, you know, like, hey, that's what you like. That's what you like,
Yeah,
man.
but that's their thing. You know that's going to happen. That's not a gimmick for
Right.
them. You know, that's just their thing. And you know what? I mean, if you got the money, you might as well do it. But that's not. I don't think it's a gimmick. I just think like that is just who they are. You know, and Maul, you know, you take it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like the Oregons do. Like they came out with they got the new jerseys every week. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously the blackout is like I kind of agree with you guys there, but my biggest take on what would get me fired up as a college football player is you got 20,000 drunk college kids going nuts, no shirts on, swinging shirts around, painting their stomachs. Like that's why I love college football. Like that's what I always take away from it. I'm like the whole bunch of drunk college kids. You can't go wrong. Gets you fired up, especially when you're in attendance at a game. I think that's the best part.
Yeah, I got you.
Plus, everybody's doing it. It's not unique to anybody. There's
Yeah.
like a bazillion teams doing it. So it's like, what are you doing? You're just kind of like being one of the regular, I don't know.
All right, well, let's move on to week 10 games in college football. Listen, Boomer Sooner, man, underdog going into to Rocky Top. You know, Tennessee, highest scoring offense, highest gaining offense in college football. And they looked every bit of that part in the beginning. Just a gutsy win on the road at Rocky Top. They were outgained 456 to 351. They were outplayed offensively, you know, but getting the win with the defense. You know, had 2 interceptions on the defense. We had a big fumble recovery for a touchdown, a stifling defense the whole game. Tennessee had 35 carries, 63 yards on the game running the ball. Timely plays by Mateer down the stretch. An unbelievable game by OU. Daisy Duke's pants wearing place kicker Tate Sandell, who was ridiculed by all the announcers and making fun of him. And I couldn't help either laugh. And it was, I mean, he was wearing shorts. It's just like, it was hilarious. You know, he nailed 4 field goals, including 2 from 55 yards away. Please give me him for the Giants right now. I'll take him right now on the Giants. And then a horrible blocking mistake by Texas on that RPO. The backside of the quarterback was not protected. And OU linebacker Owen Heineke coming off the edge, untouched, bam, nails Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar in the back. One-handed scoop by R. Mason Thomas, grabbing that ball with one hand, stiff arming the other Tennessee O lineman for 20 yards down the field. I mean,
I think it was a tight end.
I was going nuts. It was a 71-yard fumble return that I didn't know if he was going to make it at the end because of obviously hurt himself. That was his last play he played in the game. And they played the rest of the game without him, along with their top linebacker, Kobe McKenzie, was out, questionable all week, didn't play. So going into this game without him, R. Mason Thomas out after that play, I'm like, wow, we're in trouble right now. Like, we're in trouble. And I'm telling you, man, without those 2 guys, the rest of the game, an unbelievable performance by Brent Venables and the Sooner D. I mean, but I got to say, I feel like I did help them out. At 10 o'clock on Saturday night, I did something that I feel from my living room couch. It was the only thing I could do. I was thinking about it because he wasn't playing that good. So what did I do?
You mushed Mateer. You
I
reverse
pulled
mush
out the
Mateer.
reverse mush.
Yep.
And I asked for Mateer to be pulled, and bang, what happened, boys?
The
It
second
worked.
you sent it to the group chat, he went off.
There it is. I saved it for a timely occasion. I was waiting for that exact point. That point on, John Mateer must have heard me call for him being yanked, and he played his ass off.
He knew they
Play.
told him he got. I saw him on the sideline. They said,
Did you see this?
They said Coach
see
Z
that.
is currently challenging your fight level. You better man up. And he said, "Oh, Z's talking shit. All right, let's go."
Listen, I'll take it. Whatever helps. But that guy, I mean, besides that one pick, that first down they got late in the game, a minute or something, was it 4 minutes left, and they're eating the clock, they're moving the chains, and they throw that RPO to one of their third wide receivers, and I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we throwing the ball right here? And that made the game even closer. Without that, it would have been even more of a lopsided win for Oklahoma at that point. But I'm just glad it worked exactly when it was supposed to work. The stat lines show Oklahoma was dominating the passing game, 393 to 159 in the pass game. But the script was flipped in the run game, where Boomer ran for 192 yards and against 63 for the Vols. I like where they're at right now. I think, Mateer, listen, I know we two talk about the Texas game all we want, but I think we both agree Mateer was not 100%. And you can see when he's 100% and he believes he's 100% and he plays like he played in that game, they're a tough team to beat by anybody because their defense is, listen, they are ranked in the top 10 of every defensive category in the country. Top 2 in points allowed and yards allowed. So their defense gives them a shot in every game they're in because defense travels. And they need it because, let's be honest, November 15th at number 4, Alabama, November 22nd at number 19, Missouri, and then they close it out home they're home against Missouri, and then they close it out at home against LSU. And that's a tough schedule remaining for them. So if they win out, they deserve everything they get. I can see it's going to be very hard for them to win out. But, I mean, at Alabama, they beat Alabama last year. Alabama is definitely going to be wanting some payback there. They kind of ruined Alabama's season last year. So I could see that. But, listen, defense travels, and I love their defense.
So I just think I'll agree with you on 85% of it. I don't think Mateer is 100%. We were texting about this. They showed the little clip on, he shook a fan's hand and he winced because the guy shook his hand too much. I don't think he's 100%. Listen, I hate Oklahoma, Z, 99% because of you.
And ever since you became a Texas fan.
But at the end of the day, I'll say this. Mateer's a gutsy kid. He's playing hurt. He came back early to try and help his team win the whole thing. But I don't think he's 100%. I think Venables probably at halftime choked Arbuckle up against the wall and said, call the quarterback run game a little bit and let Mateer do the stuff that he's actually good at. He's not a spread air raid quarterback. He's just not. He's great in the RPO game. He's great in the quarterback ride rear game, and he's great at off-script stuff. And I think that you just saw, specifically in the second half of the Tennessee game, Oklahoma just kind of become Oklahoma. Their defense is playing lights out. When their defense plays bad, they're going to get their ass kicked. That's just, you watch.
Across the board, yeah.
You know what I mean? And when their defense doesn't get home on all the Venerables crazy shit, they're going to lose. Their defense was getting home on all the pressures. Tennessee did not know how to block up half of their stuff. It was absolutely pathetic if you watched some of it. And then, so tip your cap to the Oklahoma D. They were flying around. And then Mateer just was Mateer. I feel like it was just kind of the stuff that plays to his strengths. RPO game, quarterback ride game, ride read game. And then he made some throws once the run was a threat. He made some throws down the field. And it was this was the team that played against Michigan. It was kind of the same kind of a game. And those are probably, let's be honest, their two biggest wins of the season. What are Oklahoma? If you were to say, hey, make a case for Oklahoma to be in the playoffs, it's probably you're going to say, oh, they beat Michigan, it was a big game in the beginning of the year. And then this game against Tennessee, really their other wins aren't really that impressive. So to me, it's the two biggest games they showed up in and won. look at what they did. They played awesome, outrageous defense, and BETR made some great plays, and a lot of it was with his feet. And they were not doing that the last couple weeks. They didn't do it against Texas. They didn't do it against Ole Miss.
Yep. What do you think, Malt?
I mean, obviously, we're a big defensive guy here, so scoring points off turnovers is huge in any game. I mean, running game was flowing. Xavier Robinson and BETR, 35 carries, 192 yards. Both had a touchdown. That's combined. And then the only thing I would take, I mean, obviously, it's a big. Their last 2 weeks, they versed two pretty good high offensive scoring teams. But I mean, just tighten up the secondary a little bit. I mean, you don't got to give up 300 and whatever yards, but they still won. So I guess that's all that matters. And then the one other take I have from this game is that they had 11 penalties. So they just got to
some bad penalties, some way too many penalties.
Yeah, obviously we know what these refs do. I'm not going to knock them for that, but yeah, they just got to tighten up in that aspect.
Yep. All right, Coach Kite, tell us about what happened down in
Listen, man, I don't. Again, we can sit here
Orange
and talk
place.
points and stats and the whole thing. I thought and think Vanderbilt is an incredibly competitive, tough team. I watched Diego Pavia, and this is a reference that our audience probably won't get, but the two of you guys will appreciate. I look at the kid and I just see Jim Leblow. Like he's electric. He stands on his head. He does all this stuff. I was very nervous about this game, and I think the phrase that I used last week on the show was, which Texas are we going to get? Are we going to get the Texas that played Kentucky and Mississippi State and UTSA, or are we going to get the Texas that went out and put their foot on Oklahoma's neck? And luckily for Texas fans, it was the latter. Outrageous performance defensively through 45. Again, you got to play a whole game. You got to close the game out through 45 minutes. Defensively played great. And then, listen, the story of the game was Arch coming out of protocol and just let it rip, man. And I'll hit you with some numbers in a second, but I feel kind of like all the issues that Arch has had up until this point, and I've talked about it. We've talked about it, Z. We've sat there together and watched him like miss guys wide open, 7 yards away, throw the ball, without touch. I think it's mental, man. And it's like everybody would speculate. They're like, oh my God, this highly rated kid, he's not playing up to, the standards were unrealistic that everybody set for him, but he wasn't living up to the hype even close. And part of me, like, now that you see him in some of these big games, you're like, wait a second, this kid can do it. I think Sark's game plan in these bigger games is a little bit different. He doesn't have these 5-step drops, pocket passing, down the field stuff, and he's not everything off of play action, but it's RPO game, quick game, run game, get the ball out quick. And Arch seems to flourish in some of these moments. So are these issues that he's had this season mental, and is he starting to give a little bit less of a shit about all of the noise and all of the hype, and he's starting to just get dialed in and mature a little bit? I really hope that's the case, because he has improved every week, and he's starting to play good football, and it's showing up in big games. So right now, quick comparison: Texas 328 passing yards to Vanderbilt's 365. 100 rushing yards to Vanderbilt's 58. We talked about that. Vanderbilt runs the ball. Sometimes it's with Pavia, sometimes it's off script, but they make their money pretty much on the ground, in my opinion. 58 yards. I'll get more on that in a second. 7 of 11 on third down to 7 of 13. In the red zone, Texas was 5 for 5. And that is where Arch really flourished, as opposed to a 2 out of 3 in the red zone. 6 sacks on Diego Pavia. He could not, in the beginning of the game, again, first 45 minutes, first half, this kid could not. He was running for his life. He was looking out of his ear hole. Everybody was sacking him. They were really doing it with 4 guys. Again, Arch Manning, 25 for 33, 328, 75.8% completion percentage, and 3 TDs with 0 INTs against Vanderbilt's defense, who is pretty good. To hit home a little bit more on the day, like the fourth quarter was an absolute nightmare. I watched the game. My heart was in my throat. Everybody was going nuts. They seemed to like let their foot off the gas a little bit, start to play like a little bit of coverage down the field, invite the underneath stuff, try and tackle it, milk the clock, etc., etc. It didn't work. Pavia made some great plays, got him in a position to recover, potentially recover an onside kick and be in the game at the end. It just seems like Texas does this. They go to the end of the game and they want everybody's blood pressure to be through the roof by the end of the game. The one thing that I think that needs to be said is that Michael Taft was out for the second week in a row, and this Texas defense had, a lot of points scored on it. It had 38 points scored on it against Mississippi State. And now it was 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. I just think he's a huge difference maker. He is their quarterback on the defense. He is a absolutely dynamic player. He makes plays in the run game. He makes plays in the pass game. Him not being there was a huge hurt, and I think that he cleans up some of these issues moving forward, coming back. He should be back against Georgia. But again, like prior to the the quote-unquote meltdown, the fourth quarter meltdown, Diego Pavia was sacked 6 times. Prior to this game, all season long, I think he was sacked a total of 7 times. So to have, Simmons and some of these defensive front players from Texas really had a great game. Next, I'll just say this. Vanderbilt rushes for over 200 yards a game consistently, 58 yards. So huge game, huge win for Texas. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, Manning's back. I'm a Manning homer. I don't care what anyone says. I'll root for the guy every single week. I don't care if he does bad. Heck of a start for him. Quick 75-yard tutty. I mean, no better way you want to start a game. Texas owned this game for 3.5 quarters. The other half, the referees owned. And, big preparation for the bye week coming up. I might be dabbling with Texas on the road at Georgia, so we'll see.
Here's the thing. If you just look at it like this, Georgia runs the ball. I mean, Georgia's going to consistently try and run the ball. Who has been able to run the ball against Texas this year? Everybody has a season low against them. Those defensive tackles are the kid Canoe. He's terrifying. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they got some studs, definitely.
Matchup wise, I don't know.
Nice. All righty, Mark, what do you got on the Dukies and the Tigers, baby?
Just seems like every week I'm picking the biggest poop game for my picks, and I got to talk about it the freaking week after.
Yeah, but this was a great game.
This was a hell of a game. Unfortunately, ruined by a bad, terrible pass interference call. I mean, they're at like the 20-yard line. It's 4th down. The Menza throws the ball, and the Clemson cornerback's back is towards the play, and the wide receiver just levels him. And they call the wide receiver levels the cornerback, and they call defensive pass interference. I mean, whatever. But Duke came out scorching hot. They built a 21-7 lead. In the first half, they were 4 for 4 on 4th down. Menza came out of the game, had 21 for 41, 361 yards, and 4 tutties. The second quarter, though, was all Clemson. I mean, Klubnik in the first quarter gets drilled on his first possession that they ended up punting on, and he was limping. So I was like, great, I'm done. And then 2 minutes later, they showed him right on a bike wheeling it out. But he had a heck of a game, too. 27 for 36, 385 yards, 2 touchdowns. The second half was just back and forth, your typical high conference game. And Manny Diaz, I mean, that dude's a wizard on defense. I mean, he had blitzes coming from all areas. Klubnik, luckily, played him well. I mean, but there were unblocked Blue Devils running past the line of scrimmage the whole game. And Klubnik got the ball out early, so he did handle it well. Unfortunately, Clemson loses again. And It just sucks for Dabo. I mean, I'm not a Clemson guy, but I think they deserve to win here at home.
I mean, I just can't. And Dabo was on yesterday talking to the media about the call, and he was talking about how, and I think he's 100% right. It's like you're getting these games. Everything comes down to such a close margin of error, and coaches are being millions of dollars is on the hand. People are getting fired. People's lives are changing, and then these refs, if they screw up calls, just go into a meeting and they get the coaches are allowed to pick out like 10 plays for them to discuss, and then they get an email that says we're sorry. I mean, this cannot continue like this. There's way too much money. There's way too much stuff changing hands as far as gambling, as far as coaches getting fired, lives being changed all over the place. This is not acceptable. The easiest way in my book to fix it, we need full-time refs. We need this. No, you need replay. Replay on any bad thing that you thought happened. If it's, it's got to be I guess you could say you can have 3 official replays on officials, and if if it's found to be right, you get it back, or something like that. And that's the easiest way to fix it. And with college football, the replay might take really, what should it take? 30 seconds. Even if it's from a central area, if every conference had a central area where they had, 10 officials watching the game in one central area, and they're like, dude, we missed that. And they buzz down, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do to make sure that in big situations, I mean, it's like, oh, everybody's going to say this, and that. Oh, we got Big Brother, you got this, you got other people. No, it's about getting it right. That's all I want to see. Get it right. And, Dabo came out yesterday and he went nuts and he said a lot of things and he's probably going to get fined again. He got fined $10,000 after the game for what he said. And you know what? His job is on the line. So he should, he's getting paid millions of dollars a year. If you fine me 10 grand, I'm going to, you know what? I mean, listen, I'm going to give the officials my point. You guys know that the way.
Nah, not you.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, listen, it's one of the reasons why I'm not coaching anymore. I can't take the basically the BS answers you get. I can't understand these guys that just, I'm sorry, you're official, you're doing it. And I always tell them and again, I've sent stuff into officials, and this is only high school football, I understand. I've sent stuff into officials. I've gotten emails. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I've gotten calls from officials. Oh, we're so sorry. When I've seen him at the next game. Oh my God, we're so sorry. You know what I say to them? I go, that's great. You can say to me all you want, but you just knocked my team out of the playoffs, and my seniors are going on for the rest of their life knowing that they got screwed because of a bad call you made. I said, that doesn't help anybody. I said, you don't want to help me? This is what I'm going to tell you to do, and I think every coach would feel the same way. Most of the time, just put the flag away. If you never threw a penalty, nobody would give a shit. Unless it's so egregious that you have to call it. But other than that, don't call a friggin' thing. And some people get called and they get swayed because of I know in high school, coaches are all screaming stuff on the sideline. And all of a sudden the guy's like, oh, I must have missed something. Throw the flag. And, I just don't like a lot of it. And I have no problem with people, saying stuff about it. Let's be honest. It's the only way it's going to get changed if people start bitching about it. And
to take it a step further,
$10 million a year. $10,000, he could be. You know what? I will say a few more things, dude.
I would love
up to $100,000 and let's go.
I would love to know Z's total fine wise. Like I'd love to know if Z was in Dabo's spot for one season. I'd love to know the end total. I mean, it'd be something. If
I made $10 million a year, I'd only bring. Listen, after these, I'd probably be down to 5.
Yeah.
I just, you know what? But I mean, it's just I hate seeing it, and I hate seeing. Again, I know I laugh about what happened in Oklahoma and Auburn. I'm like, could it be a penalty? Yeah, it should have been according to the rule, according to whatever, whatever. I don't know how it all works with that rule, and I don't know, but I know what a lot of these rules are. And then, we saw what happened with Notre Dame in the first week of the season against Texas A&M. I mean, the guy was tackled and was tackled to the ground. 2 guys were.
Texas A&M does it every week, and I'm just gonna say this: watch the Missouri-Texas A&M game. Specifically for that. Like, if we're all watching football together this weekend, I'm going to make a tick mark of how many times there is a blatant tackle to the ground hold in front of the refs by Texas A&M, and they I don't know. Do you see the thing that Lloyd sent the group chat about Ohio State's hasn't got a holding call in 2 years? Yesterday was the anniversary, or this weekend was the anniversary of 2 years of there's holding on every play. We're all linemen. It happens. It's taught. It's coached. Hold, but if you get caught, it's not holding unless you get caught. They haven't had a holding penalty in 2 years. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the refs have to be held accountable, man.
And there's got to be some things gonna change, and we'll see what happens in the offseason. But I definitely think it's something that has to be addressed because there's way too much money being changed hands on every outcome of these games. And buyouts. You got to talk about the colleges buyouts. They want it to get right because they don't want to listen. I don't think a school wants to have to buy out a coach for admitting that they got that he's not doing a good job. But if you get 2 bad calls in a game, it's going to change the outcome. It's going to change the outcome.
The SEC has issued official apologies and statements about how their refs are
every week.
Every week. It's so bad. Did you guys see the play? There's a couple plays in the Texas game, and I know I'm going to sound like a friggin' homer. There was a play where Diego Pavia is being tackled through the sideline. Contact was made in bounds. Forward progress was stopped. The defender for Texas drives them into the sideline, and Diego Pavia, who's a wrestling state champion, has an underhook, and because he's pissed because he's frustrated, tries hip tossing the Texas defender, and they throw an unnecessary roughness on Texas. There was probably 4, Sark's in shit too right now because he's running his mouth about how bad the officiating was in that game. And you sit back with point spreads and the gambling being what it is, FanDuel, DraftKings, it's and then all the shit with the NBA comes out. The mob has their hand in the NBA. You're telling me they can't get to an SEC officiating crew? Yeah. I'm a cynic, dude. I'm a tinfoil hat guy. You got to think some of this shit's possible.
Yep.
The UFC.
Listen, it's an issue, and it's. I don't think you're ever going to get it perfectly right because of, but we have the benefits of this high definition cameras, frame by frame, and you're like, oh, the human guy, you got to have the human element. No, you don't have to have the human element. It's too fast. It's too fast for these guys to get it right. There's too much on the line. Just give them the help they need. That's all I'm saying. And officials can be like some guys are going to be like, oh, no, this is me. I'm in charge of it. No, you have – I don't care what your friggin' ego is. It's about getting it right. And you got to – and that's it. I'm sorry. I just think it's, and listen, if you're official, I think ultimately you don't want, you want to get it right. You want to make sure that the game is being played.
It takes the pressure off.
Won the game, All right, boy, let's move on to next week, week 11 in college football. We have, I'm going to say I don't think it is the strongest week that we have ahead of us, but there are some nice matchups, including number 8, 8-0, 5-0 in the Big 12, BYU at number 9, 8-1, 5-1 in the Big 12, Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a 10-point home favorite in this game over the undefeated BYU team. Again, Texas Tech's only loss is to Arizona State without their quarterback. So, this basically, in my opinion, should be really 2 undefeated teams. Texas Tech, one of the most expensive rosters in college football, all the guys they brought in, and it's paying off for them. Basically, game of the year in the Big 12 right now. Major implications for the conference championship and potential college football playoff berth for the Big 12. Texas Tech has lost 16 consecutive games against top 10 teams. But, again, transfer portal, that could change all that stuff. We've seen that in the past. So I think some of that stuff you can look at and say, yeah, who cares? Texas Tech has asked – one thing about Texas Tech, which I was listening to, and it made me laugh, they have asked their fans to stop throwing tortillas on the field.
It's like $100,000 fine, right?
I know. It's like this is like a tradition started there years back, and it's like there's a local in Lubbock, Texas. There's a local tortilla factory that, I mean, and people say this is like this is really going to hurt this tortilla factory because of how many tortillas they make that are used for this. So what's the harm here? It's a freaking tortilla flying in the field. And I don't think they do it during the play of the game. I think it's done at certain times, but
because it takes time to clean it. It takes time. They have to like stop sometimes and like get the field right before they play.
You know
again.
what? I don't care because I'd love to watch it and see what happens. And you know what? If this is a tradition there, then I want to see it. You know, you got the NHL, the guys where they throw squid on the ice. They throw hats on the ice. Yeah, and you clean it up. And guess what? Every fan in the building is freaking loving it. So that's what's supposed to matter, right? I don't know.
They're not going to stop doing it anyway. The kids in Texas aren't going to stop doing it. They're going to still do it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Again, you don't know how it's going to work. I don't know, but there's like fines and people.
I think they said it's a 15-year-old.
They have to do like some serious things for this now. So you know, you're not going to. Kids aren't going to want to hurt their team. They're just going to like. It's just. I don't understand why. You know, you want people to come to the games. You want the fan experience. If guys are going to spend a couple bucks and buy some tortillas and fling them out there, shut up and let them have fun. I mean, I
agree.
All right, so here we go. Big matchup in this game. Huge matchup. Basically, it is like the veteran versus the rookie, with Baron Morton bringing his experience to this game, his efficiency, and he's been consistent throughout his Texas Tech career. Then you have Blake Bockenmeyer for BYU, who, you know, basically thrown into the starting job in the preseason as a freshman, number 47 playing quarterback, dual threat, tough as nails guy. And basically you couldn't have two guys that are probably more opposite starting in this game. But it's going to see like how basically BYU can impose their will on Texas Tech's defense, which has a lot of money on that defensive line, some highly recruited guys. I don't know how do you call them recruited when they're being paid? I don't understand. We got to figure out a new term for that. Highly recruited or highly touted
employed.
Or highly paid. I mean, what is
highly sought after?
I mean, I don't understand. You know, free agent acquisitions of high. I don't know whatever. But Morton, you know, is a good quarterback. He's really effective. His RPOs are really good. And then Bachmeier with the bombs, and then also when he's got some good deep ball, and he also does some good stuff running the ball, power quarterback runs. And for a freshman, Bachmeier has shown a lot of poise under pressure and clutch playmaking when it matters most in some of his games. And he led BYU to several comeback wins this year. And you know, Baron Morton also has shown the ability to play under pressure, under duress. So I just like the fact that we're having like an experienced senior quarterback here against a freshman quarterback, and they both seem to have, you know, I guess I want to say the it factor. They're Foxhole guys, and they got a big set of balls, each one of them. And I'm excited to watch this game and see what these guys can do. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean,
JK, real quick.
I mean,
go ahead, Maul.
Big game for both teams. I think Texas Tech's going to handle business. I mean, obviously, so does Vegas.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one thing I take away from this game is that BYU's got a +10 in turnover ratio. So they get a lot of extra possessions. They score off them with a 92% red zone efficiency. I mean, BYU is going to show up. I think the explosive offense and the talented defense for Texas Tech's gonna put a hurting on them. I mean, they're coming in with David Bailey, who leads the nation with 11.5 sacks. I think the 16-game streak comes to an end, but protecting the football for both of these teams and limiting crucial bad possessions is key for if either one of these teams want to get the win, because both of them can capitalize off turnovers.
Yep.
I think both offenses can take and hold the ball and score. They both have scrappy elements to it. Again, just to reiterate, I think it's going to be the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, turns the ball over less, and flinches and doesn't flinch. I think both teams can score, and I think both teams can win. It's going to be this is the game I'm looking forward to watching probably the most.
Yep. All right, Coach Kai, what are we doing, man? Let's hear about it.
All right, man. So
Tigers,
real
baby.
quick, I mean, listen, Missouri, Texas A&M, Missouri, I think Missouri's in a little bit of a desperation mode. They got 2 losses. They're both good losses, in my opinion, to ranked teams in the conference, Vandy and Bama. But they're a 2-loss team. So again, in a very competitive SEC, you gotta win to stay alive right now. If you have 2 losses, if you're a 2-loss SEC team, you still want to make the playoffs. There's a lot of less wiggle room. A couple of big points here moving forward is just Bo's out, man. No go Bo. Missouri goes into the game with true freshman quarterback Matt Zollers. And he's going in again. This kid had a lot of potential, but he's a freshman, and he's going up against Texas A&M's defense, which I think last week against LSU, you saw a huge difference. Mike Elko took the defense over. Mike Elko is calling the plays. They were all over LSU. They were all over Garrett Nussmeier. The pressures were great. They got home with rushes. So again, this is a freshman, albeit looks like he has composure. The kid might be a better player than even Bo was at times. But at the end of the day, the stage, the lights are going to be bright, and he's going up against a talented group on defense. So that's definitely something to watch. On the flip side of the coin, guys, I think we say it every week. Texas A&M on offense is absolutely terrifying. Marcel Reed is a dual threat guy. He's awesome. He makes plays with his feet. He makes plays with his arms. They have a great stable of running backs. Couple guys who can consistently run the ball. And then Casey Concepcion, is he the most dynamic guy on the field? They find ways to get him the ball all the time. He is constantly open, and teams are game planning for him. Again, they are electric on offense. They are much improved on defense. But the last little thing is, I think Missouri may potentially be defensively. They might be the best competition that A&M has seen, right? And I know that we're on the show every week talking SEC. And for the vast majority of these teams, the schedule is murderer's row. As good as Texas A&M is, I don't think it has been for them. You know what I mean? So I think.
Yeah, listen, they've played some good teams, but they also opened up with
UTSA,
having Notre Dame out
Utah
there too.
State. They beat Notre Dame in a close. That's their best win. They beat Notre Dame in a close game where I think they kind of got helped out by the refs. Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, and LSU. No Georgia, no Bama, no Oklahoma, no Texas, etc., etc. And the wins.
Texas at the end of the year.
They have Texas at the end of the. Well, you said it before. A lot of the schedules are going to work themselves out by the end of the year in the SEC. Yeah. But up to this point, their hang your hat win is Notre Dame in a game that, a couple bad calls at the end. So again, I am a believer in Texas A&M. I'm very nervous for the Longhorns playing them at the last game of the year. That said, I think Missouri is the bully on the block that the biggest one that they've played so far. So I think it's going to be really awesome to see Marcel Reed and his guys go up against that the Missouri pass rush and the Missouri D. And it's going to be interesting to see if Texas comes out and plays the same way they played defensively against LSU. I think it's a walk. If they don't, and Missouri can get that run game established, I think we're going to have a great game.
Great, Coach. Good breakdown there.
Yep.
All right, Maul, here we go, man. We got the number 6, 7-1 Ducks at a tough place to play in Kinnick Stadium in the Iowa Hawkeyes.
All right. Before the season, I circled this game as a potential very, very tough matchup for Oregon. I mean, they haven't won a game in 2 years coming off the bye, losing to Indiana this year and then losing to Ohio State in the playoffs. But I think Oregon's going to beat Iowa at their own game. I think we're going to pound the football down their throats because they want to run their mouths. Their fan base has already written this game off, which is kind of crazy to me because I think Iowa's an underrated team with a hell of a defense. A couple defensive stats for them. They're number 4 in the nation with 13.1 points per game and number 2 in the nation in yards per game with 234. But Oregon's defense, number 6 in the nation with 13.5 points per game. number 4 in the nation with 239 yards a game. So, I mean, we know which team has more talent. It's going to be a good game, but Oregon minus 6.5. You could put it in every single book because I think they're gonna kick their ass.
Oh, I listen, man. Iowa's tough, man. Iowa is tough. They play. They make you play their style at home, especially, and very well coached team. And got to tip your hat to that tradition they have over there. The Hawkeye wave at the end of the first quarter when everybody turns and waves to all the kids that are in the children's hospital at the University of Iowa Steed Family Children's Hospital. They do the wave to all the kids that are in there and their parents. And pretty cool thing I read about it where there's a kid captain for every home game, and they've been doing this since 2022. And he gets to choose the music that's played during this, and that kid gets a little honor and everything. So awesome tradition over there that they do in Iowa, and every team that comes in there would definitely will be participating in that because it's just it's about something that's just bigger than the game. So I got to give tip my hat. They started that in 2017, and it is really one of the most heartwarming things in college football. I give credit for them. And listen, that team over there, they're tough, man. They are tough. They're well coached, and I think they're going to give Oregon everything they can handle, man. I really do. So we'll see what happens with that game. Biggest thing in that game that I saw was Oregon's ninth-ranked offense against Iowa's number 2 FBS-ranked defense. So that's going to be a battle right there, man. So we'll see what happens.
Penn State was number 2 ranked at one point defense.
Who?
Penn State's defense was supposedly ranked.
Yeah, well, that's because they played every FCS team.
You can't go by the beginning of the year
quoting
rankings
the
anyway.
I'm just quoting the mush.
They
We
should
know who the
rank
number
shit
1
till the end of the
FBS
year anyway.
defense
It's
is.
the third game of the
We
year.
know that. All right, here we go, boys. Real quick, we don't have much time. So, we had the college football playoff. I wanted some time to talk about it. We're not going to have much. But just reviewing it real quick as far as what came out. At number 12, Oklahoma. Number 11, Texas. Number 10, Notre Dame. Number 9, Oregon. Number 8, Texas Tech. Number 7, BYU. Number 6, Ole Miss. Number 5, Georgia. Number 4, Alabama. Number 3, Texas A&M. 2, Indiana. And 1, Ohio State. I look at this right now and I say, I think it's exactly what it should be. I think it's all right. I mean, I can see some of the other ones where they had Oklahoma ahead of Texas, which, a spot or two ahead. And I can understand a little bit of it because of the losses. But, again, who they lost to. But, again, you got to look at head-to-head when it's that close. And Texas beat them, so they deserve the spot ahead of them. So, I think other than that, boys, I have no problem with anything in this ranking. What about you guys?
The only thing I take away from it is I think 9 through 12 are better football teams than 6 through 8. Obviously, you could argue Ole Miss because they're a wagon right now. But I think Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma are better than Ole Miss, BYU, and Texas Tech.
Well, I can't say Ole Miss. Oklahoma lost to Ole Miss, so I look at that saying, I don't know. Oklahoma. I mean, Ole Miss put some points on one of the best defenses in college football.
Yeah, they're good.
Their home. They were, I don't know. Ole Miss, I think, deserves to be where they're at right now. So we'll see how it all plays out. But according to the records, I think this is exactly where everything should be.
It's good for now. It's good for now. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to find out some stuff moving forward. But again, like, you're going to have, Missouri and Vanderbilt. We'll see what happens because BYU and some of these other teams, 1-2 losses. Give me the SEC team, dude, because of the teams they played. But it's good for now.
Yeah, you're going to see. After this game between Texas Tech and BYU, one of these teams is gone, is out of it, and it's going to move up again. And you have more of the big dogs in there, and one of those teams will be gone. And listen, one of those teams deserves to be there, and one of them will be out, so we'll see what happens. All right, and guys, let's get on here. We have to get moving, so here we go. I'm going to go real quick with my picks. Last week, I was 1-2, but this week, let's see, I won the Ohio State game. I lost the Miami game, and I lost Notre Dame, didn't cover by enough against Boston College. But this week, I am going to go with Arkansas State plus 4.5 over Southern Miss. I'm going to go with Mississippi State plus 8.5, over Georgia. I think Mississippi State at home has played a lot of teams tough. So I'm going to give them the nod on that one. And I'm going to take Ohio State with 29 points over.
Oh
Purdue.
my goodness!
I just don't think
Purdue is
lost
terrible.
to
I know.
Purdue lost to Rutgers.
I know.
Take Ohio State in that game. You know, that's what I'm taking. Okay, guys,
You're
go.
a wild man. Go ahead, Malt.
All right, here we go. My picks 1 and 2 last week. Got to get back on track. We're going Oregon minus 6.5 over Iowa. We're going Clemson minus 2.5 over Florida State. And we're going to take a Friday game because it seems like I could only win on Wednesday to Friday now. So we're going to take UCF plus 1.5 over Houston.
Okay, good one. Go in there.
I was 1 and 2 last week. Piece of shit Gunnar Stockton kept me from being 2 and 1 by kneeling on the 1 yard line. He could have friggin' done a somersault in the end zone. I won't
We
get
got
into it.
steak on the line, Gunnar.
It's ridiculous, dude. But anyway, here we go. Texas A&M minus 6.5 over Missouri. Elko's calling the D. I think they can really put a number on them. I'm going Texas A&M. I'm taking Florida State plus 2.5 over Clemson. And I'm going to finish out with Vanderbilt on a bounce back, minus 6.5 over Auburn. And those are my 3 picks. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, can you please text me those, Coach, so I can finally get some, put them in there and keep track of this pretty good for me?
Yeah.
Uh,
You got it, Coach.
I'll text you every week. I'll say the same thing to you, Mr.
Yep.
Technology. Put them in there, but he never puts them in. Whatever. All right, Maltz, Moneymakers of the week.
15 and 14 on the year. We're on a little bit of a bender. We got to get back on track. We're going Friday game, UCF money line and 1.5, both straight bets. We're going Oregon minus 6.5, and I think Dabo's little motto this week is don't give them a chance to screw us over in the end of the game. We got to win by. We're taking Clemson on the money line minus 120, and a little 3-leg parlay. Oregon money line, Vanderbilt money line, Texas A&M money line, plus 172.
All right, here we go. Now, I want to get to the road runner of the week. We're going to go with Liberty running back Evan Dickens. Had 22 carries for 217 yards and 4 touchdowns.
All right, here we go. Headhunter of the week with 12 tackles, 5 solo, 7 assisted, 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss. And your headhunter of the week is Arvell Reese, linebacker, Ohio State.
Fools of the week, 0 sacks allowed and 258 yards rushing. Keep it going on the lane train. I got the Ole Miss Rebels.
All right, good stuff, boys. Hey, man, let's go. Next week, we're going to get into more college football playoffs scenario, and I guess we'll just find out who in the breaking news is going to be fired this week. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe we should start betting on that. But I'm never a fan of coaches getting fired. I think it affects so many people in their lives other than that head coach. He's the one that's going to be basically taken care of, and everybody else is set to just run around and move their families. And it's a suck. Like one of my good friends that is in the business says it all the time. It is a unbelievable job, but a horrible profession. So that's the way it is in college football. But everybody enjoy the games this week, and we'll see you. Thanks for watching.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.